Well, we return to Santa Pod Raceway in England for round 5, and incredibly all the championships were still wide open. But before we go to the racing here today at Santa Pod, let's have a review of the Top Alcohol Championship so far this season.
You join us for the first race in the quarter-finals of Top Alcohol Dragster. Peter Beck already having gone through on a bye run, courtesy of being the #1 qualifier, setting a new European record in qualifying, a 5.77 second run. Russ joins me in the commentary position. We're both looking forward to the racing.
Absolutely, Graham, because Jarmo has got to win this race. He will want to win this race so that he can meet Peter Beck in the semi-final, because Peter Beck has beaten Jarmo now twice this year, once at Sweden, once at Finland.
Well, taking a look at the car of Dave and Linda Wilson, Dave quite happy in there. Lots of development work gone on with that car, a twin magneto setup, the engine almost dwarfing the car. Well, that's the way it goes in Top Alcohol these days. The supercharger is becoming the all-important part, and the amount of air they can get in there. Roivas first into pre-stage, followed by Dave Wilson. Roivas goes into full stage. Wilson, look at the heat that car's making. On the green, nothing to choose, but look at the power that car from Finland's making. Another 5.79. Roivas takes the win. Well, an old Great Britain affair in this quarter-final. Faye Fisher, the little lady, very much on a steep learning curve for 1998. And this man, Rob Turner, well, Rob, Stephen Carmel, over the moon this weekend, into the fives for the first time with the Turner racing car.
And of course it was Rob Turner, Graham, that won here in round 1 at Santa Pod earlier in the year, so I guess all eyes will be on Rob to take this win, particularly as Faye hasn't had a lot of running time in her dragster this year.
Well, quite right, Russ. Managed to scrape in as number 7 qualifier. Fuel problems on the car. And just look at the concentration on Faye's face. Really means to make a good job of this, and I wish the team well, but more eyes, of course, on Rob Turner. Into the fives, as I was saying, still a single magneto on that car. And this absolutely guarantees we're going to have a Brit into the semi-finals. Well, look at Steve Turner motivating Rob. That's the way it works. Faye concentrating very hard on the tree into pre-stage first. Rob Turner follows it in at the green. Well, Rob Turner looked to be away first, and at half-track stretches his legs, takes the win, another 5. Well, 5.9, and Faye a creditable 6.4. Well, this one, Russ, the battle of the wreck cars. And, of course, Dougie Bond, the Martin Hannes group car, nearest to us. in the far lane for Germany, Peter Schofer. And Peter, running that incredible small block Chevrolet, really has had the most incredible season so far.
Of course, he won in Germany, but it's been very difficult to crack the monopoly that Beck and Roivas have had at the top of the championship table this year.
Well, of course, another man into the fives for the first time here in qualifying, Ross. Qualified in at number 3 with a 5.99. Here we go. This is the race. Peter Schofer rolling forward under the watchful eye of the crew chief. He's the first man into free stage. Doug Bond goes into stage. Here we go, waiting for the green. All on the reaction times. Well, you could see that on the start line. Peter Schofer was out like a bolt. Takes the win, a 6.12. Dougie Bond clicks it off early through into the semi-finals that look like this. Well, Peter Beck went through on that bye run. Hurt parts, though, will race Jarmo Roivas. Rob Turner will race Peter Schofer. Top alcohol funny car, Lex June already through on a bye run. This the quarter-finals. Leif Helander, the Swede, and the number 4 qualifier here this weekend ran a 6.22 with the Saab. And of course, the Starcotter Racing unique bodywork. He's up against Ditso Krivan, this man with the Dodge Avenger. Well, Ditso only been out one other occasion, and I think that was in Germany, Russ.
That's right, of course you'd expect Leif Helander to take this win as he's third in the championship and he won in Sweden.
Well, there may be a surprise on the table. Ditso Krivan, the number 5 qualifier. On the green, though, it's the power of the Saab, pulling away at the top end. Look at that. Nothing to choose. A 6.1 takes the win, and you can see a slower reaction time from Helander in slow motion. But the more power that Saab was making really told at the top end, winning by a car's length, and gets the Viking into the semi-finals. Our number 2 qualifier, Michael Kagerad, always popular here. And that Mustang starting to perform as it should. He's up against the man from Switzerland. This is Urs Embacher. With the Dodge Daytona, he purchased from Urs Erbacher. Not to be confused, they're both from Switzerland, but not a lot of track time, pretty much an unknown quantity.
Now from a championship position, of course, Graham, Mickey has got to win this race to keep his championship hopes alive, and then he has to hope that Leif Andreasen does not win the next race.
Well, on paper and in qualifying, almost half a second between the performances of these two drivers. Into stage goes Kagerad. Embacher follows him in at the green. It did look to be the Hawaiian car away first, but look at that all the way through. Embacher gets too close to the wall, clicks it off. A 6.4 takes Michael Kagerad through. This is Urs Erbacher.
And of course this is the big one, because if Leif Andreasen wins this race, he is the 1998 funny car champion.
Well, I'm sure Michael Kagerad will be watching from the far end of the track. Leif Andreasen with the Firebird can't afford to slip up here at all.
But it has to be said that he doesn't seem to make many mistakes, so again everybody would be anticipating a win by Leif.
Well, Leif not the number 1 qualifier here this weekend. That went to Alex June. Leif Andreasen managed to be the number 3 qualifier at 6.2.
Good shot there, Graham. Just shows how tightly fitted these drivers are into these funny cars.
Well, this is a very tense moment. The car's moving to the start line. Andreasen and Erbacher both in free stage. It's Erbacher into stage. Andreasen follows him. Look at that. Needed a good light, but a red light for Urs Erbacher ends his race day. And I think Leif Andreasen will be well relieved with that one. Takes the win with a 6.33. This is the semi-final. Alex June has a race in his hands with Leif Helander, Michael Kagerad and Leif Andreasen in the second semi-final.
The top alcohol funny car is going to be very exciting. I'm expecting 9 or 10 cars to compete all rounds. And I think top alcohol dragster also will end up being a very, very strong class.
Peter Beck has announced that he's moving up to top fuel. What do you think?
If he's going to do that, I'll be absolutely delighted. Such a strong competitor, such a good runner. I think alcohol will be pleased to see him go away into top fuel. He's a very strong racer.
Our first semi-final of top alcohol funny car, Leif Helander from Sweden with the Saab, and number 1 qualifier, Alex Yoon.
And as we've already said, Leif Andreasen has taken the 1998 European Funny Car Championship. We'll be having a word with him later.
Well, the probe of Yoon running really, really well here this weekend. No chance of anyone else lifting the championship, as Russ has said. Leif Helander, very, very tough competitor indeed. We're going to look inside the car with the Star Ottoman. This, as always, the tensest part of any race, and a lot of Dutch pride going into this one on behalf of Lex Yoon. Here we go, up to the start line. While Leif Helander likes to stage second, he'll let Lex Yoon take the lead. Indeed, Lex Yoon, the first man in a stage. Helander follows him in. Well, on the green light, look at that. Lex Yoon is away and takes the win. Helander loses with a quicker time.
How was the run?
Yes, this time was terrific. You can see the setup from yesterday, it's working today. And Lex is always very quick by the light. So you can see the Andreas of Helander, you see the time is very quick.
Well, you can see there in slow motion, Lex Yoon, the quicker reaction time gave him almost a car's advantage at half track. But look at Helander charging at the finish line. Well, here's the unique view, Russ.
Fantastic view, Graham. You can see Mickey Kagrad's view along the top of his funny car as the fiberglass top comes down. You can see the firewall between him and the engine there. That's the only thing between him and that engine if it lets go. A very dangerous position to be in. He's straddling the clutch at this point, which is even more dangerous as you can see him coming round onto the strip.
Well, of course, Michael Kagrad now has seen the championship go to Andreasen. He's racing Leif Andreasen in this second semi-final, and there's got to be a lot of pride at stake in this race. Firebird Racing Mustang.
Michael will want to win this race. As you say, Leif has taken the championship. This is a heads up against the 2 leading contenders. It's basically anything to play for.
Well, the numbers 2 and 3 qualifiers here this weekend. Michael Kagrad, I don't think ever has been quite as happy with the feel of that Mustang as he used to be with the Ford Pro. Leif Andreasen, well, everything has just gone right for him and the team this year. Here we go. This is going to be a race for pride. Andreasen already the champion. Kagrad with something to prove, moving up to the start line. Well, take a look at the Christmas tree. Who's going to be the first in there? It looks to be Andreasen in pre-stage, followed by Kagrad. Andreasen, up comes the revs, into stage goes Kagrad, Andreasen follows him in at the green. Look at that, Kagrad already a car ahead. Andreasen giving up the ghost, a win for Michael Kagrad.
How was that run?
Not very good that run either, because still a lot of clutch in the car, and we working at taking out some more clutch for the final. But as I said last time, we take it any way they come, so they all count. So we are very happy with this one, so we are really happy.
Well, take a look in slow motion. What a big difference. 34 thousandths of a second makes at half track. Only 2/10 in it in times at the finish line. But Michael Kagrad had a point to prove and proved it well. Let's take a look at the way the final lines up. That's going to be Michael Kagrad racing Holland's Lex Yoon.
I'm down in the pits with the Turner brothers and their top alcohol dragster. You see lots of work going on behind me. And this is because there's an onboard computer down here, which is inside the car, hidden away in a hatch beside it. And here it's downloading information into a laptop computer. The information is then printed out so the engineers can find out what the car is doing after each and every run. This tells them about the engine revs, how hot the engine is, and also what the clutch is doing during the run. So basically, all of that causes all this work. As you can see, all the changes taking place here because the engineers would change the setup of the car after every run to suit the conditions of the weather and also the track.
Well, here we are at the first semi-final of the top alcohol dragsters, and I think at this point we can safely say that Peter Beck is going to be the 1998 European top alcohol dragster champion. He doesn't actually have to win this race, he's actually tied the championship up Having said that, of course, Peter Beck and Jarmo Roivas are the two championship leaders at this point, and they will both want to win this race for a matter of pride.
Well, let's take nothing away from Jarmo Roivas, but not forget Peter Beck did a lot of damage to the car in the final qualifying run. The back axle is borrowed from Tommy Liner, Pro Stock racer, and a whole amount of crew has been working on that car. Whether or not Peter Beck is going to make it to the end of the track, not whether or not he's going to win this race, I think that is the big question. Whatever, Jarmo Roivas is going to be taking it very seriously indeed. Would love to come out the victor, although not the champion. Here we go, into stage it is. Roivas first in, followed by Beck at the green. Look at Beck go, out ahead at half track. Roivas overhauls him and takes the win, 5.79.
What a run.
Yeah, it was quite marginal. It almost was too much, but we barely made it, but that was enough for Beck now this time. He's beaten us 3 times this year, so now it was finally our turn.
Well, take a look in slow motion. Beck out the hole fastest. Had a car advantage at this point, but look at Roivas going past. Whether or not Beck was thinking about the borrowed parts or not, I don't know, but Roivas came past like an express train. This then, the battle of the new 5-second men. For Germany, Peter Schofer. Great Britain's Rob Turner.
Remember, Rob won here at the main event earlier in the season. I know he'd love to win today in front of his home crowd. So let's keep our fingers crossed for Rob Turner. But Schofer lying third in the championship, I guess his favourite to take this win.
Well, you have to look at it this way, Russ. It's been Schofer who's had the share of the glory, or the bigger share of the glory in '98. Rob Turner has really only been a player in the first event here at Sandpond, and now in the finals. Well, take nothing away from Rob Turner. They really have got the act together this weekend, and Stephen Carmel have worked really hard to make that car consistent. And to their credit, it's starting to pay off big time. Peter Schofer, though, always going to be very, very hard to race. That small block works so hard. Well, here we go. Coming to the start line. Neither driver paying much attention to who's going in first. Almost identically to pre-stage. Rob Turner lights the stage well. Schofer follows him in. Look at that turnaround ahead. And Schofer straight into tyre shake, clicks it off. Turner takes the win. Whoa, 5.8.
Great win by Rob there.
Well, look, in slow motion, you can see the reaction time for Peter Schofer was quicker, but Rob Turner, look at the slicks on that car. Really is pushing it through the finish, and a new British record, that 5.89. Well, let's take a look at the way the final's going to be. Jarmo Roivas racing Great Britain's Rob Turner. The new champion, Peter Beck, of course, out in the semi-final.
There's major drama down in Alex Yoon's pit. They're trying to get his funny car sorted out. Basically, they've got 15 people working on 2 engines, just trying to get one of them rebuilt and fixed. These guys are working flat out here, and if you walk with me this way, this is where they're really trying to piece the car back together. They've actually got other racing drivers helping here. You see, look, they're putting the second engine in. This is the one that they hope is going to work. Will it work? I don't know. He's got to do it in time to get out against Mickey Kagarat in the final.
While many hands make light work, they say, let's have a word with a relaxed Michael Kagarat.
The semi-final was a little bit rough, a lot of tire shake, but we are in the final now, so pleased.
And everyone, your car's all ready to go?
Yeah, the car is ready, and everything looks fine. We have to take more clutch out and hope that the car can run better. We'll see.
Well, the sad news is that Lex Yoon wasn't able to make it out for the final, left Michael Kagarat with a solo.
Another great in-car shot there of Michael Kagarat during his burnout. I can assure you it's a lot noisier in the car than it sounds on television. Well, Michael Kagarat is going to finish second in the championship, and clearly, Graham, he's going to win this race.
Well, I would imagine, Russ, that he'll save parts, but being the showman that he is, Michael goes through the whole burnout routine. You see the escape hatch being closed on him there. That is where the driver would make his way out in the event of a fire or a mishap at the top end of the track. The crew chief lets him know where the start line is. You can see what a restricted view that is. Here we go. I would think Michael will click it off at half track. Whoa, you still get the launch of the car. Look at that, Michael out of the throttle, cruises through to take a well-deserved victory.
It was an easy run, you can call it.
Yeah.
It had been more fun if we had been both cars here, but it is as it is, so we have a solo.
Well, let's finish with a word from our newly crowned FIA Top Alcohol Funny Car Champion, Leif Andreasson. But first, let's have a word from second place man and event winner, Michael Kagerad.
I feel great. It was a good win for us anyway. But yeah, I want to win the championship, but Leif Andreasson has deserved that. He's running very well all this year, and yeah, I'm second, but I try next year again.
I feel really happy. The whole team have been working very good the whole season, and we plan to trying to do it this year, and it looks like we did it.
Well, the championship decided in Top Alcohol Dragster already, but we have this great race still to come. Great Britain's Rob Turner and Finland's Jarmo Roivas.
He's running very fast. I think very close race today, but I think we have a lot more power.
Well, a lot more power maybe. Don't forget Rob Turner is on a tremendous roll. He's run his first 5-second times here this weekend, and we'll be looking for a repeat of the action here at round 1.
It's finally cracked the 5-second barrier this weekend, and we're really happy with it. That particular run was the British record, and Steve's still tuning the car.
Well, unfortunately, even if Rob was to win here today, it wouldn't affect his championship standings. However, I think if he did beat Jarmo Roivas, it would give him a tremendous psychological advantage for next year.
Well, here we go on the start line. Rob Turner rolls forward into stage. Whoa, at the green, look at that Jarmo Roivas out ahead. Look like tyre shake for Rob Turner. He clicks it off. Roivas takes the win.
How's the run?
It was good. It was a new European record and the win, so we're really pleased.
Well, let's take a look at the way the championship finished. Our event winner, of course, Jarmo Roivas in second place. We'll have a word with him and also a word with our new champion, Peter Beck.
I feel good. We fixed the new European record. We win this race. I'm happy now.
Yesterday night we have a problem with the rear end, and we have not a spare part, and we researched a long time for this part, and tomorrow Tommy Lane helped me with this part, with his part, and then I think it's okay. I'm very happy with this second FIA championship title.
Biggest news of the weekend yesterday in qualifying the UK's first 4-second run by Barry Sheevels.
It's the best thing that's happened to this team all year. We've got some luck now, let's keep it.
I'm not surprised. The track's been very well prepared, the cards are up, the whole championship's wide open. It'll be decided between those two teams this whole weekend, so I was not surprised to see one of those two be the first to do the 4.
Let's have a word with the man himself.
I've been promising this all year, and now we've done it. We were the first people to run a 5 here at Santa Pod in alcohol, and I always said if I got in a fuel car I'd like to be the first to run a 4 in top fuel, and that dream's come true. I've done that one, and I've got some good luck things that I've had years ago, and lucky underpants and everything. I wore everything, kissed the car, and I've done everything, and everything's working. Rabbit's foot, everything.
Well, hearty congratulations to our man Barry Sheevels. What a great achievement. I'm joined by Russ here in the commentary position. We go into the quarter-finals of FIA Pro Stock, the final round. 4 drivers in with a chance of lifting the championship.
That's right, Graham, and a big well done to Britain's Barry Sheevels there for getting his first 4-second run. But in this race, of course, it's Jari Connolly that we've got to look at because he must win.
Well, indeed, but up against it here, the Bob Glidden engined Ford Mustang of Tammy Brander, and that wedge Ford in that car really has been on song this weekend. Brander comes here the number 4 qualifier and ran a 7.21 in qualifying. Jari Connolly, the number 5 qualifier, ran a 7.22. Well, here we go, rolling into pre-stage. It is Connolly first into pre-stage. Brander sets Connolly into stage. Brander stages, here we go, the green! Well, look to me, Brander away first, and look at half-track. Tommy Brander keeps the lead and takes the win.
Connolly is out. Connolly is the first of the 4 out of the championship.
Well, an upset in our first race. Well, the man with interest in the championship in this, our second quarter-finals, is the man nearest us, with the Oldsmobile Cutlass, Michael Malmgren.
Having spoken to Michael in the pits, Graham, I must say he's so confident that he really wants to take this championship today. I'd lay money that he's going to take this one.
Well, opposition in the other lane, that is Kjetil Hauger Mustang. Once again, Ford power and the number 7 qualifier. You have to say, Russ, that on paper, Mike Malmgren has to be the favourite. Also, this now looking like a 3-horse race for the championship. Malmgren has to make the move on Hauger and get out of the hole quicker. Otherwise, that race is over. Don't forget, in Pro Stock, reaction times is what it's all about. 0.4s are the order of the day. 0.42 is necessary. Here we go. It's Malmgren into stage first, followed by Hauger at the green. It's just Malmgren ahead by half a car. And half track, nothing in it. Here we go, the finish line. Whoa, Mike Malmgren takes the win. The Oldsmobile Cutlass coming up through into the semi-final.
Now, of course, this is the big one. Nicholas Anderson, the championship leader at the moment. The odds would say that he would take this win, but he's got to take this win if he stands any chance of taking the trophy.
Well, surprisingly, the number 3 qualifier here with a 7.12. He takes on Norway's Rune Istra with another Firebird. So a Firebird in either lane. The man leading the championship is the car we were looking at just then, the old red car from Norway, a new entrant into the championship. And what an upset this would be. And I would imagine that Nicholas is really feeling up against it. Even the number 6 qualifier is not going to be easy to get by at this stage. Here we go, he's straight into pre-stage. Followed by Anderson. Who's going to be the first to stage? Well, Istra rolls forward. Followed quickly by Anderson at the green. Nothing to choose in it. The car's side by side, but look at the power of that red and yellow car. Takes the win. Anderson through to the semi-finals.
That's a good race because Anderson is only 21 years old. Whatever happens this weekend, he's certainly going to be one to watch next year.
Well, talking of ones to watch, the man who is the reigning Pro Stock European champion, it's Tommy Laine from Finland. This beautiful silver Firebird, the number 1 qualifier here this weekend, the only man running in the 7.0s, and has what must seem an easy race for him. Jakob Ferrer, you remember, turned the car over in Hockenheim, and now in a borrowed car.
Well, Tommy Laine there actually works on his car a lot himself. he seems to generate a lot more power out of that engine than other cars.
Well, here we go. This is the most intense time of any race. Don't forget, Pro Stock decided often on the start line. Both cars in pre-stage. It is each stretch of stage at the green. Well, look at that. Tommy Liner is half a car behind.
Look at the power in there, incredible.
Well, the reason being a red light for Jakob Ferrer really had to try hard and pushed it too far. Well, Liner takes the automatic win into the semi-final to race Paul Brander. Michael Malmgren will race championship leader Nicholas Anderson. As qualifying rolled out, Jens Nebo, the number 4 qualifier, will race Barry Sheevels in this semi-final. This the championship decider. We spoke to both drivers.
I feel pretty nervous.
No, you don't.
I'm sure you can feel I'm shaking all over now.
No, Jens is a great competitor. I'm sure he's not nervous. I mean, it's my home track. We didn't run the first 4, and hopefully can back that up, take a new track record. Main object is to get to the end of this track before Jens. If I don't, I've lost to a great guy and a great team.
Thank you.
And yeah, that's just what I want to say, really. It's a pretty emotional time for me. I've had lots of sleep, been practicing all night. I've won this meeting 5 times last night.
Jens, did you get an early night?
No, I haven't slept since Tuesday.
Oh, good.
Well, lots of laughter before the race, but this is a real serious business. A lot of things hinge on this race. It's fate that this comes in the semi-final. This will decide who is European Top Fuel champion. Your thoughts, Russ, at this moment?
Well, I think you could tell, Graham, that both drivers were very, very nervous. I spoke to Barry before the race. He was very emotional. And I wish them all the best. Barry has got that new wing on the car that he fitted in Hockenheim. So hopefully he won't have the traction problems that he had during the season.
This is it, the big one for Barry Sheevels. His chance to be European Top Fuel champion. Jens Nebo's last chance to be European Top Fuel champion. Here we go, it's Barry, first into pre-stage. Jens follows him in. We take a look at the tree. Barry into stage, Jens follows him. Well, the green looks to be Sheevels away first. Look at that, up in smoke.
Fantastic race, friends. Barry Sheevels is the European Top Fuel champion.
How'd you feel?
I feel good now. It's over and done with now, so. And we backed it up, the record, so that's... Can't ask for more.
Well, take a look at this in slow motion. You can see Jens Nebo 0.03 of a second ahead at the start line. Before going up in smoke, 297 miles per hour, a new European Top Fuel speed mark. This is our second semi-final. The lady, Anita Michaela, the number 2 qualifier of 5.03 for her. And she's racing the surprise winner at Mantop, Monica Oberg.
Good view down there on the track there, Graham, and a good view looking down in the cockpit earlier, showing exactly how the steering mechanism of these huge Top Fuel dragsters work.
Well, the name Peter Lance associated with both these cars, of course, reputable chassis builder and engine tuner himself. The parts manufactured by Peter Lance in Sweden are used by both these cars. But of course, the known 4-second performance of this car in the hands of Kent Pearson last year, now in the hands of Finnish favourite Anita Michaela. Here we go, up towards the start line. Who's going to be the first car into pre-stage? The 2 ladies, both in pre-stage together. It is Anita who stages first at the green. Look at that. Anita Michaela out by a car's length, the half track, takes the win, 5.15.
Wow, she drove well then.
Yeah, brilliant. She saved us a lot. I think she was off the throttle a little bit just to save the tyre check, and that was the driver's job. Even with the reaction time, we were running slower. So thanks, Anita. You saved us a lot. We will give you a better car in the final, I promise you.
Well, Barry Sheevels crowned European Top Fuel champion. This is the way the final's going to look here today. Barry Sheevels, Anita Michaela.
We are very close to announcing a new centrally controlled company to market and run the championship, a new television package, 2 new tracks that are possibly going to be coming onto the championship in 1999 and the year 2000, and it all looks very, very exciting, and we're all looking forward to announcing it very shortly.
So drag racing is growing in Europe?
Very much so. I think the TV awareness has helped considerably, and certainly the 1999 TV packages are going to be, from the corporate level, very, very exciting indeed. That is, in fact, to help the awareness, probably brought a lot more spectators to the championship this year. With the additional tracks we're looking in that are in key European markets, I think it's looking very exciting for next year.
Well, before we go to our pro stock action, let's have a word with our European Top Fuel champion.
It's been tough, and been some tough competition out there, and you know, I've got to thank all the guys. They've worked really hard throughout all the rounds, and it's not been easy, and it's been pretty expensive along the way, but we're here and we've done it. So I'm still in a state of shock, really.
And tell us about that final run.
Yeah, that was awesome. I think that's the word for it. It left so hard, and the car came up and twisted, and I just stuck with it. It was a little bit of tyre shake at about 100 to 150 feet, and then it just hooked up and went. And I was quite surprised that it wasn't a 300-mile-an-hour run. It really was going well at the top end.
Semi-finals of Pro Stock, let's have a word with Tommy Liner.
I need to win this race, and then I have to see what Michael and Nicholas do, but our car is fast and we're going to win today.
Well, how right Tommy Liner is. Very confident, #1 qualifier, running 7 zeros, racing Paul Brander, who put out Jari Connella in that first round.
And Tommy's right, he needs to win this race, and then he needs Michael Malmgren to win the other semi-final to give Tommy a chance of winning the championship.
Well, an awful lot to ask for. I think the things that are out of Tommy Liner's hands are going to be the other semi-final. Meanwhile, on paper, Paul Brander with the Mustang, Tommy Liner with the Firebird. He follows Brander into pre-stage. We've seen all kinds of play on the start line this year. Tommy Liner not going to play this time. He goes into stage, followed by Brander at the green. It looks to be Tommy Liner ahead, and already at half track has an advantage, takes the win into the final. Well, that's his championship hopes kept alive. This is going to be the championship deciding race we're looking at right here.
Well, we feel pretty optimistic still. I mean, we know the Panasonic car has the potential, you know, to go very fast as we did in Hockenheim, and the track here is tremendous. So, I mean, we will just go for it. I mean, second place or third place doesn't count for me, so I don't care. I mean, we will just make a shoot for the win here.
Let's have a word with championship leader Nicholas.
It's gonna be tough today, and we must go to the finale to be a champion, and we need it, and we do it.
Now Michael needs to win this race to keep the championship alive. If Nicholas wins, he is the European Pro Stock champion for 1998.
Well, Mike Malmgren been competing in Pro Stock for a long time. I have to say, this year the reaction times have deserted him. Was very good at Mantorp, but disappeared again at Hockenheim. This is where it's going to be decided. We're in car with Mike Malmgren. He goes into stage at the green. Well, reaction time. Nicholas Anderson looked to be first away at the finish line. The red car takes
so
it.
Close, but Nicholas takes the championship. Fantastic race there. Very, very close. Typical Pro Stock.
Well, that's a very happy crew down there.
How did the car run that time?
Well, the car got a little squirrely in low gear, and it kind of drifted over to the left a little bit. And you know what I told you about the driver before? And I'd say right now he is the best, because he stayed with that car to the end, and he did a great job.
Well, just take a look at this. You can see the reaction time was slower by Malmgren. Not by a lot, but a slower time down the quarter mile. Takes the win for Nicholas Anderson.
We are European champions. We start with, in the end of January, we don't have nothing. And here we are. We are the finals. We win the first race here. I love Santa Pod.
I love it too. Let's take a look at the way the final's going to be. New European champion Nicholas Anderson racing Tommy Liner.
Now, Pro Stock cars are some of the most well-prepared cars here today, and some of the most difficult to drive. To find exactly what goes through a Pro Stock driver's mind, let's find out more from Steve.
Yep, I'm where I want to be. I'm in Nicholas Anderson's Pro Stock car. Now, let me tell you a bit about it. In front of you, steering wheel, what you'd expect. On front down here, I've got the 3 pedals, accelerator, brake and clutch. In front here, this thing here is the tacho, tells me the engine revs. Now, how do I drive it? It's on the starting line, and this little thing is first gear. He takes his hand away and puts it on the steering wheel and changes into 2nd gear, 3rd, 4th, 5th gear to hit 180 miles an hour. Then he wants to slow down. So up near here on the roof is the lever to pull the chutes. Pull that and it will start decelerating about 3G. These cars are like the touring cars of drag racing, and they're so well prepared, they've even got carpet in them.
The final, the championship now decided. Only 1 or 2 points left to prove for Tommy Liner.
I think it will be a fair deal at the staging line, and then just see. I think our car is so much faster, so I can do it quite easily.
Well, there have been sparks every time these two have met on the start line this season. The young man and the experience. Well, let's talk to the young man, Nicholas.
It's gonna be tough. Here have a fastest car, man. We take the start.
Well, the concentration etched on the face of the new Pro Stock champion, Nicholas Anderson, as both cars prepare for the race.
Well, I think Tommy wants to prove a point here because unfortunately he missed the first round at Santa Pod, which has, I think, affected his championship chances.
Oh,
anyway.
for sure. Here we go into pre-stage. Both cars, Tommy Liner. Nicholas Anderson in pre-stage. Looks to be Tommy Liner just ahead at the halfway mark at the finish line. Well, Tommy makes his point, takes the win. I take a look in slow motion, 1/100th of a second advantage to Nicholas Anderson away from the start line. But by half track, the Silver Machine is half a car ahead and holds on to that advantage right to the finish line.
Don't look too happy.
Yes, we win the race, but we don't win the championships. But then time is not so good.
Well, time not so good, but Tommy Liner comes out a winner here today, but it is Nicholas Anderson who picks up the FIA Pro Stock Championship from Tommy Liner and Mike Malmgren and Jari Konala.
I feel happy. Of course, I would like to have that championship, but things didn't turn out that way. But I'm still happy, very happy. But next year we will be tougher and we will do all the races, and I'm happy for our performance, so we know that we will be tough next year also.
Well, in Swedish, of course, Nicholas saying how happy they are to win the championship. They'll be back next year to defend that title. Well, glory already for this man, Barry Sheevel's burning out. This is the final against Anita Michaela.
Anita, you're in the final against Barry, who keeps running all these 4-second passes.
That's right. But my car has been run 4-second pass as well last year at Hockenheim, driven by Ken Persson. So let's see.
Well, let's see indeed, Anita. Let's talk to Barry, the man on top of the world.
All the cars here this weekend were capable of being the first to run a 4. Luckily it was us, and Anita's quite capable of running a 4 against us in the final.
Well, indeed, we know the car can run 4s. Anita yet to hit the 4-second bracket. The only thing left for Barry, I think, Russ, is that 300 miles per hour barrier.
Well, obviously, Barry will want to win this race and go out on top at Santa Pod this weekend. But, of course, the 300-mile-an-hour barrier is still there to crack.
Well, what a great show the Top Fuel cars have put on for us this weekend. I can't remember when Top Fuel has been this exciting at Santa Pod. Here we go, the cars. Barry into pre-stage. Anita follows him. The cars move the final 8 inches on the green. Sheevel really going for it. Is it going to be 300? Well, no, but he takes the win, another 4.
And his blower belt goes there at the end of the run there, Graham.
Well, look at that, a .49 reaction time. 0.4's unusual in Top Fuel. He's really on a roll. 4.94. Barry Sheevels takes the win, takes the championship. Look at this, Jens Nebo, the runner-up for Denmark. Anita Michaela, Tommy Happinen in 3rd and 4th.
It's very impressive, and I'm very pleased for him because they've been working very hard. He's having an excellent crew. He's an excellent driver, so all the credit goes to him.
We've always had the power, we think, all season. We've been dogged by small problems, tyre shake, which we've all seen, and we just got it right at the right time.
Well, as we leave the celebrations, make sure you join us next year for the FIA European Drag Racing Championship.